In our last video, we met the Heralds of Ecstasy, the leaders of the Hedonites of Slaanesh armies. And it was a big old cast of characters, but here's the question, who are they leading into battle? Who form the near endless ranks of warriors that Slaanesh calls his servants? And today we're going to explore that question. Again, I want to iterate here, small note, different units have varying amounts of lore, but I'll cover everything that I can. And today I want to start with the Humbled Demonette. If you haven't picked up on the theme in yesterday's video, most of the units in this faction as a whole are variants on the basic Demonette. The Vice Leader is just a hero version, the Blade Runner is a hero version on a chariot, two heroes can grab a mirror and become the contorted epitome, and so on. This seeming lack of variation emphasizes the design of this demon, namely that it can be anything. Whatever it needs to be. And we're going to come back to that towards the end of this video. Each Demonette is spawned from the unspoken desires of mortals. They form the demonic legions of Slaanesh for the vast majority of it, being by far the most numerous. They are the basic warrior of the Dark Prince, but also his messengers, invading the hearts and minds of mortals to share the good word of Slaanesh. But on the battlefield is where they really shine, screaming, laughing, singing, in this endless cacophony, a deafening flood of sight and sound. In addition to that, they are creatures of excessive emotion. They flip between rage and over-the-top joy on a whim, the extremes of both being felt as they carve their way through enemy ranks. Now, one interesting thing here is that all Demonettes, even like the basic horde, just a ton of them, average Demonettes, are sort of low-level wizards in some sense, because they're able to kind of project this illusion of desire. Not wizards in the game, but you know what I mean. Whatever the beholder is seduced and allured by, they will have those attributes, and it's meant to be disarming and unnerving. They're lithe and graceful, and they have the same androgynous beauty as that keeper of secrets above them. They even release this kind of musk, this odor that relaxes and charms anyone nearby. And it's only when they're about to deliver the killing blow on their victim that they show their true form, this twisted parody of desire, lust, and pain. Even those that survive are haunted by this kind of feeling they experience, right? Because you can imagine they felt true horror and fear of death mixed with this kind of macabre enticement and temptation. Now, I'm going to quickly go through the next few units because there's not a lot of lore about them individually, but if a Demonette rises in status, they may be rewarded with a mount. And nothing crude like the Juggernauts of Khorne, the Seeker chariots are elegant things. They're focused on speed, precise turning, rather than lumbering brutality. The increase in speed is a new thrill to be explored by a Demonette, using her whip to great effect both on her steeds and the enemies alike. One variant on that chariot is the Hellflayer. So where a Seeker chariot is narrow and graceful, the Hellflayer is wide and imposing. Fitted with double wide sets of blades towards the rear, they shred victims in a way that also kind of transmutes their soul. It covers the battlefield in this intoxicating incense that rallies the riders to greater acts of violence and rage. Interesting tidbit here they added in, and I love it. They're actually used in the hellish garden of Slaanesh. So any souls who have wronged Slaanesh are sent to this place. You're kind of planted underground with your limbs, your arms and legs poking up above ground. Every day, a Hellflayer will come out and basically act as a giant lawnmower and rip you apart. And then your limbs regrow overnight, because no one dies without Slaanesh's permission. And it happens again the next day, and again the next day for eternity. And the last variation here is the Exalted Chariot, and it basically combines the first two into one masterpiece. And the idea is just excessive use of speed and blades. And so these are massive centerpiece units that want nothing more than to crash headlong into the enemy, screaming and whooping as they do so. Now, moving on to units with a bit more lore are the Seekers. So these are the vanguard shock troops of the Slaanesh army, and also the standard mount, I guess you could say horse equivalent, and they're used as personal steeds or to pull all the chariots that we just mentioned before. They really are kind of the beast of burden. Well, they exist in a section of Slaanesh's realm, part of his glorious pastures, right? So to become a Seeker, or at least A demonette, or a mortal, must catch one of these things, and they are incredibly fast. They're super hard to capture and subdue, but like everything else, they have a weakness. They are terribly afflicted with this extreme curiosity. Like everything in Slaanesh's armies, they are meant to experience intense sensation, right? They have better hearing, better sight, better taste. So how you catch one is that you offer it a new experience. It could be the flesh of a foe they've never tasted, it could be a trinket or a jewel, or you could play them music from this horrific instrument you made from some dead soul's body. And when they're distracted by this new sensation, you hop on its back. And so the general seeker is when a demonette grabs one of these things and they start riding it. But here's the thing, they aren't killing machines like juggernauts. They're lithe bipedals, mostly focusing on speed, but when handled by a deadly warrior, the two make an excellent combination. Able to sense and hunt prey at incredible distance, even between realms, stalk them without rest, move at mind-bending speeds, take the utmost battle sensation in, and be the first to drink it as they start slicing through enemies. All those things combined make them really great scouts, hunters, and assault units. Now the next up are the Hellstriders. This is when a mortal is riding a seeker, and I was a bit surprised by this unit because I expected them to just be, these are humans riding on seekers, right? And that just they use a variety of weapons and they hack at the enemy as much as possible. And that's exactly what they are, but Slaanesh makes it even better than that. You see, Slaanesh relishes in the desperation of others. None more than average people yearning for greatness. People who think that someday they're going to become a great warlord, but they don't have the strength or the wit to achieve it. So in a word, painfully average people who want nothing more to be better than they are. Well, to them, Slaanesh offers a bargain. He sends a seeker to them, a gift to carry them through the greatness of war and triumph. They get to live out their fantasy of being this incredible warrior. The trade right there is that they have to spend the rest of their lives slaying enemies and kind of honoring souls to Slaanesh. Which doesn't seem like a bad deal, right? You just have to be in service to me and I'll let you become this incredible warrior. What they don't see is kind of the dark fine print there. And that is that once they hop on back of a seeker, they can never dismount. They become slaves trapped in this service to Slaanesh. As they kill, they become completely invigorated by the soul severing from a body. And so when the battle is over, they scream and ache and have this terrible sense of hunger until the next fight, and only killing satisfies them. In this way, Slaanesh keeps them focused on their end of the bargain. They are trapped on the back of this animal, having to fight for the rest of their lives until they're tragically cut short, killing in the name of Slaanesh. And the last unit that I want to talk about today are the Fiends of Slaanesh. It seems that every chaos god has their pet, some creature that embodies them. But it also acts as a great supplement to their more humanoid counterparts. And that is the role the Fiends fill. Where demonettes are about seduction and corruption, these fall more on the side of power and aggression. Sometimes you just need raw muscle. Their design is based literally on the stuff of nightmares, a body horror reimagining of the human form. 4 sets of legs, 2 in the rear are facing the wrong way, got a long neck, brilliant eyes, and a lashing tail. It's very much like a chimera, where several humans and maybe a monster or two were just kind of mashed together in the worst way possible. To see it in motion is both captivating and revolting. Your brain just kind of rejects how unnatural it is, but you can't look away. And all the pieces of beauty are there, but it's a dark parody when they're all put together. And they really are the full package when it comes to warfare, right? Their actual purpose. They have tough hides, scorpion-like tails that are full of lethal and painful venom. They're incredibly fast, super sharp senses, and they release this kind of musk and smell that are meant to enrapture and daze their prey. And as a side note, I like the beast models for each of the gods. Let's just explore some different aspects to them, and this is certainly the tougher side of Slaanesh. Now, stepping back as I always do in these videos and just kind of asking the question, why are these things so cool? Well, a common theme across all of these units is attractiveness, but mixed with horror, right? These units, they're not beautiful, but they're trying to be what they think you think beautiful is. It's like a disguise, a bad one, and a dark parody. I've commented on it before, but this Chaos God, more than any other, has a direct interaction with its followers and mortals than any other. The Daemonettes are meant to entice you with your passions. They reflect it back on you. Slaanesh appears as whatever you want to see. Every part of this army is the worst reflection of us. It's the worst of us taken to an extreme, weaponized, and turned back on us. And there's just something truly bad about that. Now, I'll be honest, I wanted more models that are immortal. The whole Path to Glory arc of like a mortal champion rising through the ranks is just my favorite thing. But the units in this book very tightly convey the theme of Slaanesh in a very unique and fun way. My hope is that when Slaanesh breaks free, we'll have a whole range of mortals flocking to him. And honestly, if the Hellstriders are any indication lore-wise, right, I love that story of you're a bunch of losers who want to be better than you are, here have a trap. I think it's going to be awesome. So I love this army, I love the units. I'm not going to go out and start one because my good friend already has an army of them, but it's just something that I find extremely interesting. And I hope to see a lot of them on the tabletop. But I would like to ask you, as at the start of a conversation, what is your favorite unit amongst these? If I have to be honest, the Hellflayer Chariot is just such a cool model. Absolutely love all the chariots. The Hellflayer one is just awesome because it's Slaanesh's lawnmower. But leave yours in the comments below, I'd love to hear about it. And thank you all so much for joining me this entire week talking about Slaanesh. We're not done talking about him, we'll get there eventually, go back over some more content. But thank you all so much for joining me this week, and I'll look forward to seeing you in my next Age of Sigmar lore video. Happy wargaming.